I'm attorney Justin Clark. Coming up just ahead on You Have Real Estate, people are trying to take your money when it comes to roofing and solar, but not Mecca Roofing and IQ Power Solar. They're the best of the best. You'll see. It's all just ahead. It's You Have Real Estate. Welcome to You Have Real Estate with me, attorney Justin Clark. Whether you're a first-time home buyer, seasoned investor, or even still renting, this show is designed for you. Think of it like hitting multiple open houses, all from your living room, with my attorney advice throughout the way. If you have any questions whatsoever, I have people standing by right now to answer them. All you have to do is call 407-205-0400. Or if you want to start that house hunt, you want to find that dream home this weekend, Dallas Lehman with You Have Mortgages standing by to get you pre-qualified. You can't go look at a house without that pre-qual letter. Dallas is right there. 407-205-0400. Terrific show for you tonight. But first, it's time for the opening statement. Tonight's opening statement is brought to you by our good friends over at Margaritaville Cottages of Orlando. Check them out. Fantastic, awesome place. A real hidden gem right now in Central Florida. You know, two of the most valuable and important upgrades that you could ever make for your house are also two that come with maybe some not so good people that work as contractors in that space when it comes to working on your home. Number one, think about roofing, right? I mean, many times if you have an old roof, you can't even sell your house because the buyer is trying to get a mortgage and they're going to look at your roof and they're not going to provide a mortgage on that house if your roof is too old, which makes it a very important part of your house to really get ahead of. But also, look, if you have a faulty roof, it could be raining in your house. I mean, I can't think of much more important issues on your house than dealing with your roof. But here's the problem. There are a lot of bad roofing contractors out there. You give them a bunch of money down, what happens? You never hear from them again. You see this happen a lot, especially after a hurricane or even a bad storm rolls through. You'll get all these alleged roofers come into town, take your money, and then they disappear. Today's show, we're going to tell you how to fix your roof and how to repair your roof and how to replace your roof without having to worry about getting taken advantage of. But also there's solar. The solar energy that you can put on your house can increase the value so much. You have no idea. But while it increases the value, it also is going to decrease your electricity bill. As you know, and I've talked to you many times, my electric bill was $500. Now it is $50. So solar to me is one of the most important upgrades you could ever make on your house. But also, there are some bad solar companies out there, and hiring the wrong, disappearing solar company could also lead to disaster. Excellent show. You're not going to want to miss a minute of it. But first, it's time for real questions. Every Saturday here on You Have Real Estate, we ask real questions to the truly trend-setting people in Central Florida's real estate community. Tonight on the program, Ali Asmar, the owner of Mecca Roofing, is here, and a return visitor, Stephen Bader, the COO of IQ Power Solar. Gentlemen, welcome back. I'm glad we had the weekend to discuss what we were going to talk about tonight, so we should be very prepared, huh?
I think so.
You think so?
Absolutely.
Ali, let me start with you, because you and I have never really talked about roofing on this program. I know how important that it is, but how do I know when it's time to replace my roof? I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to get on a ladder and go up and walk around on my roof. I'm afraid I'm going to fall off. How do I know?
Well, typically start getting leaks, water's coming in the house, or another thing, you might not have a leak, but you can see the shingles start getting brittle. And when they start getting brittle and shiny, that means that it's losing the asphalt. So it's about time to have somebody take a look at it.
How does that process work? Let's say I am a little concerned about the age or really the condition of my roof. How much will you charge me to come to my house and really look at my roof and tell me if I need a new one or not, and then give me a quote if I do?
Yeah, that's absolutely free. We'll come out, give you an estimate, do an evaluation on your whole roof, your stacks, your goosenecks, because there's a lot more to a roof than just the shingles.
Yeah. So what are these other things you're talking about? It's like Chinese to me. What are those?
You know, you have your vents coming up like from your bathrooms and your goosenecks coming out from exhaust vents throughout your house. And those, a lot of times, squirrels get on them. They love the lead. They bite on them. They eat them. So we like to go in and change everything.
I mean, in the opening statement, I talked about the fact that sometimes if you're looking to sell your house and your roof is old, it can really prevent you from selling your house. Isn't that true?
Absolutely.
And why is that?
Because the mortgage company doesn't want to lend the money on a bad roof.
Yeah. What kind of down payment should I be making? So, yeah, let's say I'm concerned about a roofer coming over because I don't want them to disappear, of course. How should I pay them? How should that a pay structure really go?
It should be a very minimal down. Like if a roofer comes to your home and they want 50% or everything up front, I would stand clear.
Yeah. If you have any questions, you would like Ali Asmar Mecca Roofing to come to your house and give you a free quote to replace that entire roof. It might not be as expensive as you might think. One phone number you need to know, 407-205-0400. I will have Ali get back with you immediately. Free quote. It's not going to hurt anything to see what it's going to cost to replace that roof, Ali. So, Florida, it's very hot. We get a lot of storms. Do roofs last shorter here than they do in other parts of the country?
Well, no. Now with the technology and the shingles, the way they manufacture them, we can get roofs that can last a lifetime.
Oh, really?
Absolutely.
You know, when you watch sports, you'll see an athlete who might have an injury, but they keep playing, and you'll see the surgeon say, well, they're not going to do any further damage to their knee if they keep playing. But I mean, a roof that needs repair and you don't do anything, can't that really create further damage, not only to the roof, but to the whole house? Absolutely.
If you have water intrusion, it can damage the trusses. It can damage the wood substrate. There's just endless problems can happen if your roof leaks.
What does it typically take time-wise to actually get the whole roof repaired or replaced?
From contract execution to final, 3 to 4 days.
Some bad companies out there, I'm sorry to say. I mean, you and I have talked about this plenty of times after a hurricane, like these companies that would come in from all over the country, essentially, and then just disappear. But even now, where we haven't had a storm in the last couple of years, there's still some bad roofers out there, are there not?
Absolutely.
And what can I do to ensure, other than calling Mecca Roofing, of course, because I trust you, what can I do to ensure I'm not hiring one of these guys that's going to disappear with my money?
Just look up the company, look up their license numbers, make sure there's no complaints against them, make sure the person that you're talking to is the actual license holder and it's not some other company out of Arkansas or something like that. Yeah. But those are the little things that you can do.
What kind of warranty should I be looking for when I get my roof replaced?
Well, it depends on the type of shingle you're using, but we offer a lifetime warranty that's not warranted through Mecca, but the actual manufacturer. It's a great product, GAF lifetime roofing system. So that's the best thing in the market right now.
What does that mean, lifetime warranty?
It's the actual. You have 50 plus years of it being warranted, and it's non-prorated. There's a lot of warranties out there that they say this is a lifetime roof, but it's prorated. So if you have it for 10 years, then the manufacturer comes in and says, okay, well, we're going to prorate it. Where this system here is non-prorated. So you can be 49 years and something goes wrong, they'll take care of it.
Yeah. What about these roofs, the tile roofs? I mean, those can be really expensive, right?
Absolutely.
And how long do those last typically?
Those they get very brittle from the sun and they start breaking. So I would say those last less than an asphalt.
If you're looking to buy a house right now and you have two houses in the same neighborhood, one has tile roof, one has regular shingle, what would you do as the owner of a roofing company?
Well, I like the look of a tile roof.
Me too.
It just looks better, but asphalt shingle will last longer.
Let's say that the guy comes by, Joe the roofer comes by and says, I'll do your whole roof at $5,000. Here's a handshake. we don't really do written estimates. I mean, should I be looking for a written estimate and really have a contract with this guy?
Absolutely, always.
And I imagine over at Mecca, you guys are always going to do written estimates.
That is correct.
What about licensing or insurance? I mean, should I be asking the potential roofing company that I'm talking to about what kind of license they have, what kind of insurance they have? Does that matter to me?
Yes. You want to make sure you hire a licensed roofer that has workers' comp and has general liability as well.
How hard is it to get a roofing license?
It's pretty difficult.
Really?
Yep.
Because I think a lot of people just think, oh, please, you can be a contract, which also you're a GC too, which I think makes a huge difference. I mean, Ali Asmar, the owner of Mecca Roofing, is not just a licensed roofer. He's a general contractor too, because other things are going to pop up as I'm getting my roof replaced or repaired. I think, I don't think you can underestimate being a licensed GC as well. But I think that there are a lot of people out there who think that, wow, what do you do? Like take this little test real quick. It takes 30 minutes and boom, now all of a sudden you're a GC, or boom, all of a sudden you're a licensed roofer. It's not that easy. I mean, I've seen you work at it over the years.
Yes, it's not easy at all. The GC license is about 17-hour test, 2 days, and the roofing license is about 7-hour test, 7 to 9 hours.
Jeez.
So a lot goes into it.
Yeah. Ali Asmar, Mecca Roofers, please give him a call, 407-205-0400. I'll hook you up with him right now. He will come to your house next week and give you a quote to see what it would cost to completely replace that roof or repair that roof, and see what else is going on there to make sure your house is protected, but maybe more importantly, to make sure your house is sellable. The last thing you want to do is go to sell your home, get an offer on your home, and the next thing you know, they say, we can't buy your house. No one will loan me money as the buyer to buy your house because your roof is too old or in disrepair. I see it happen all the time. I see it kill real estate deals virtually every day. Get out ahead of it. It won't cost you a penny to call Ali Asmar right now. 407-205-0400. You're going to stick around for the Real Estate Roundtable, I hope, right?
Absolutely.
And speaking of roofs, I mean, Stephen Bader, our next guest, is the COO of IQ Power Solar. You do something different on roofs. You install what can be one of the most financially responsible, but also really societally responsible things that one can do, and that is you install solar, like you did for my house. $500 a month I was paying for my electricity bill, sometimes more. You talk trash about me on the show all the time about my house and how it was not very efficient. But now I'm down to $40 a month, maybe sometimes $30, maybe up to $50 a month is the most I'll ever pay for an electricity bill. But Steve, what I have noticed is homes in California, even homes in South Miami, as they go to build houses or even rehab houses, they're requiring solar now. I mean, and if they're requiring it in California, they're requiring it in Miami, at some point that's going to happen here. But as it's required here, there's one thing that's probably going to go away before it's required here, and that's that tax credit, right? I mean, isn't this coming? Isn't this going to spread across the country?
Yeah, and there's a lot more legislation than you mentioned. To be honest, I mean, solar hot water has been required in Hawaii since 2008, and in California, since you brought that up, I mean, there's a lot of requirements. I mean, any commercial building 10 stories or higher has to have solar, and now any new build in Miami has to have solar. So, and those are just a couple of states in the U.S. I mean, globally, there are massive strides towards solar. But I'd actually like to take the opportunity to talk about solar in regard to roofing,
please,
and how often the two collide. Because there's a few scenarios where it's extremely important that the roofer and a solar company have good chemistry. And look, I understand that every homeowner, has a sister-in-law's daughter's husband that's in roofing. But at the end of the day, it's more important that the roofing company have good chemistry with the solar contractor. Here's a few scenarios every day that create nightmares. Every time someone's getting a re-roof that already had solar, maybe they bought the house that had solar 8 years ago, and that roofing company, sometimes they'll say, oh, yeah, we could take it off, put it back on. And the homeowner doesn't know any better. If they're not NABCEP certified, then that solar warranty is gone. a lot of roofing companies now, they'll call us, and we get calls all the time, and the roofing company will pay us directly and quote the customer to come and rip and replace, where we take the solar down. However, when we don't know the roofer, that is always difficult because, something Ali didn't talk about, that he probably deals with every day is how many inspections happen in a roof. And when that collides with solar, we don't know the roofing company. We take the solar panels off. We store them here, and then maybe there's, something happened to the solar panel. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of lapses in accountability, and then they don't really tell us when it's been inspected, and we don't know when we can go back. And when you lose 4, 5, 6 weeks in that process,
yeah, of course,
it's not good. Now, that's one case. But I'll tell you, I've worked with Ali and Mecca a few times now. I think we're on our 4th contract, and we haven't had an upset client. And as a matter of fact, we've come across a client recently that it could have been a horrendous nightmare, and it's literally going as smooth as it could possibly go. But for instance, when someone is getting solar, sometimes, a roofing company will come across someone that wants solar, and the roofing company will reach out to us. But a lot of times, we'll go to a house, and our engineer will say, hey, this roof isn't ready for solar. It's going to need to be replaced. So we tell the homeowner that. Now, the value, again, I can't stress this enough, of the roofing company having good chemistry with the solar company. Do you realize that you're going to save thousands of dollars by getting a roof with us at the same time? People don't even know this. This is probably one of the most under-advertised things in the solar industry. But we have a client right now. He was going to get solar. He realized his roof is a problem, and it is. Mecca Roofing went out there. There was more than a problem. There was some confusion as how to move forward. Mecca had their engineer go out there within 2 days. Okay, you know how hard it is to get an engineer on site in 2 days?
Oh yeah, of course.
We already have clarity between Thursday and Monday. And now, when we do the solar, the client is going to get a solar tax credit on the portion of the roof cost that the solar's on. So that client is going to save $3,000 or $4,000 in his net investment just because of the way that Mecca Roofing and IQ Power are going to work together.
Well, and I think that's a big credit to IQ Power as well from what you guys do. And like I've said on this show several times, when you first came to my house, I really expected you to just pull out a ladder, look on my roof, and say, oh, we'll put some panels there and you're done. But you were asking to go in my attic. You wanted to check the insulation throughout my house, and you wanted to check my roof as well, because IQ goes in to really make sure you're making my house energy efficient. You're not just giving me solar panels.
No, and there's so many places where experience is extremely important, because in reality, anything that you need in your house to support the solar investment qualifies for the federal tax credit.
Right.
So, we have an engineer, and he has access to engineers. So when an engineer says, oh, we need to increase your electric load, and we need a new roof, and it's not smart to put a 25-year warranted solar system that's going to last 40 years on a roof that's going to need to be replaced in a year. Now those become costs that are necessary to invest in solar. We're going to structure the deal properly to where you get a tax credit that goes beyond your investment in solar panels alone.
Right. I 100% agree. And if you have questions, you want Stephen Bader, IQ Power Solar, to come to your house and check the energy efficiency and see what solar could really do for you, please call 407-205-0400. It will not cost you a penny to have them come out, see exactly how much money you could save every month like I do. Stop paying these electric bills. But also, Steve, at some point they're going to require solar here as well. But my fear is when the government requires us to go solar here, this tax credit is going to be long gone. But even more than the tax credit, as solar is required in more places, demand is obviously going to increase. What's that going to do to pricing?
It's funny because people always look at solar like it's technology. The price is going to go down. I hear the expression a lot talking about televisions.
Yeah, it's like a plasma.
Guys, solar is not a television, okay? There's a massive difference. By definition, something is worth what it saves you, okay? If a solar panel is gonna be installed and it's gonna save you X amount of money per month, and there's a multiple to that. Let's say it saves you $2,000 a year times 12 years. It's worth $24,000. While the tax credit diminishes, and while there becomes a force behind you going solar, whether it's a carbon tax if you don't have solar, or you're being taxed heavier rates at peak hours, which is already happening all over the globe. Basically, solar will save you more because it will be eliminating kilowatt hours being purchased at a higher rate. So the value will increase. It's not a coincidence that the cost of solar increases while the value increases.
Right.
And while the tax credit is diminishing, the next year, and the year after that, while the mass of the tax credit is disappearing, there's not going to be people are just trying to sell solar. It's going to be a demand, and what happens is it starts to take 4 or 5 months for some of the smaller companies to get solar panels. We're installing, from the time of a contract, we have one of the best records in existence in the country. I mean, the average company is installing above 90 days. There's some companies that install 6 months after the contract. Do you realize what that means, Justin? That means they're paying a payment on their finance bill 2 months, and they still don't have their solar for 6 months. And they're paying their electric bill. We're installing in an average of 45 to 50 days.
All right, so fine, you've sold me. I'm going to save $300-400 a month like Justin Clark is, and I'm going to save the environment, really, because solar is obviously a clean energy, so to speak. But I'm worried a little bit about how much of a down payment I'm going to have to make to get solar installed on my house, and maybe my credit's not great. I'm worried about being able to get financing for this. Talk to me about down payment and talk to me about credit to install solar on my house.
Well, we don't use any programs that require a down payment. It's really important to us to have a extremely user-friendly process. We have great financing options that require mid-6s, late-6s credit and 7s and et cetera. We also have different options, and in many corridors, from Brevard County to Kissimmee to Apopka to Oviedo, there is something called the PACE program, which is non-credit related. And the best thing about that is when you get approved for the loan, or the PACE program, the debt doesn't go on your credit report, it doesn't pull your credit report, and it's still yours. It's very cool.
I'm convinced that now is the time for you to buy solar. The tax credit's still there. The pricing is actually going to shock you at how inexpensive it really is to make your electricity bill go down so much. And all the while, we're really saving the environment for the young people who are already here, or the young people to come. But also, if you're looking to sell your house and your house has an electricity bill of $40 a month, and your neighbor who's also trying to sell has an electricity bill of $400 a month, and buyers are coming into your neighborhood, whose house do you think they're going to want to pay more for? I'm convinced that solar helps increase the value of your home. It's a fully free consultation with IQ Power Solar. 407-205-0400. Steve, you're going to stick around for the Real Estate Roundtable, I hope, as well?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, good deal. And without further ado, it's time for your portion of the show. It's time for the Real Estate Roundtable. Every Saturday here on You Have Real Estate, I answer your questions from throughout the week. All you have to do is follow us on Facebook at You Have Real Estate, and you can ask me questions directly right there, and I just might answer them next week on You Have Real Estate. All right, let's go to James up in Lake Mary. I live on a golf course. I think maybe it's one that Dallas plays on. Can the golf balls ruin my roof? What I'm saying is Dallas might have a hook or two. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, they could easily damage your roof.
So, seriously, golf balls can damage your roof?
Yeah, they can lift the shingle. They can actually go through the sheathing.
Did you know that? Because I know golf balls can go through your window, but I thought the roof was strong enough to where a golf ball's not going to affect it.
No, I didn't know that. That's horrible news.
So I mean that should affect your decision maybe to live on a golf course or not. If you're right on the course, I mean people are going to hit your house.
I'd be more worried about the windows.
Yeah, probably so. Yeah, it's a little scary. All right, Sarah in Claremont. I have a quote from a roofer who is not licensed, but it's a very cheap quote. Should I go for it?
Absolutely not.
Why not?
Because no warranties, no license. It's just bad. Red flags everywhere. No permit. And, it's just red flags everywhere.
What could happen that would be bad if I used an unlicensed roofer?
Well, let's just say she wanted to sell the house,
right?
And there was no permit pulled. Now the mortgage company is going to want to see when the roof was replaced. There's no track record. There's nothing in the county records that'll show that it was replaced. So she may have to replace it again.
We actually had a client recently that we went they had a roof done 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And when we sent the county out there to inspect solar, they got fined. Because
really?
Because the county knew that the roof was new, and he saw that there hasn't been a permit pulled on a roof since the 80s.
Oh, good.
And the customer was mad at us about it.
Of course. You got to blame somebody, right?
He's cool now.
Okay. John in Orlando. Steve, I love seeing you on the show. Do you think the big electric companies have a big lobbyist presence in Tallahassee and D.C.?
Of course.
What are they doing? Because, I mean, these electric companies are making huge amounts of money. They must not want to see IQ Power Solar show up in the neighborhood, right?
Well, the last major presence of a lobbyist in the electrical circuit is when Solar Amendment 1. That's something that most people can relate to. I mean, I think Duke alone spent upward of $25 million lobbying in Florida just for the net metering policy to be adjusted, which was an extremely deceiving, divisive piece of legislature that, thank God, we were able to see clearly and reject.
Yeah. All right. Christy in Maitland, how do I make sure I get the tax credit for installing solar? What does she have to do?
Well, in reality, it's a pretty simple form. If I remember correctly, I think it's IRS form 5693, or I'm not an accountant, but it's a really simple form. And in reality, your contract is what you need, and it's so simple. It's like line 1, total contract price, line 7, multiply line 1 by 26%.
Gotcha.
So it's pretty straightforward.
Seth in Orlando, what deposit should I give my roofer at the signing of the contract? Ali Asma.
I would say no more than $500.
Oh, so it's really that little?
I mean, that's all we usually take, $500. I mean, you don't really need any more money than that because you just pull your permits and then the materials get delivered.
And then when does the rest of it paid?
Upon completion.
So when you're done?
When I'm done, 3 days later.
So why in the world would any of us ever pay a big chunk up front if we can use Mecca? But maybe because you guys are legit and other people aren't, and other people need money to finish their old jobs. That's probably what's going on, right?
Yes, exactly.
That's what's happening. If a roofing company is asking you for a big chunk of money up front, I can pretty much guarantee you they are kind of robbing Peter to pay Paul, so to speak, and they're using your money to finish an old job. You know what that means? They're not going to finish your job until they're able to sell another job. That's a good point.
Absolutely.
Mecca Roofing is the only person that I trust when it comes to getting your roof done. And Stephen Bader from IQ Power Solar, as you know, I've trusted you guys for years with my solar. I mean, maybe more importantly, you two are two of my very closest friends as well. So not only do I trust your business, as your friendship's important to me also. Thank you for being here so much. If you have questions about your roof or you want to get solar on your home, the same phone number, 407-205-0400. I'll connect you with them right now. Thanks for joining us today. I'm attorney Justin Clark. We'll see you right back here again next week for You Have Real Estate.
You Have Real Estate with attorney Justin Clark is sponsored by Margaritaville Cottages, Orlando.
Thank you so much for joining me today here on You Have Real Estate. Don't forget to check us out Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. over on Florida Man Radio 105.5, or download the Florida Man Radio app. I love seeing you on TV. I look forward to seeing you on the radio.